The Cellcast is recorded in front of a live streaming audience.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Cellcast. Joining me today is a man who one day will go bang, zoom, straight to the moon. Welcome, Jacob.
Oh man! Now back to the future is in my head. Thank you very much. That's not a bad thing either.
Anyways, if I was actually more of a Jackie Gleason show fan, I would feel perturbed that's how you know this.
But anyways, why thank you. Let me use our co-host, a man who is just looking for a meal and winds up befriending that snack. Welcome, Drew.
Did I befriend him, or did I just lure him into a false sense of security?
You're just wrong, dude.
That's what I was thinking at the end of this. Grant, this is not a full Tom and Jerry situation,
No.
so I really don't know. Anywho, yeah,
And-
Honeymooners, not Jackie Gleason show.
Honeymooners. Thank you.
Hey, thank you. Sorry, I got that wrong, Kurt. Anyway, tonight we are ending Indie Shorts Month with a look at two shorts. One being a short story of a fox and a mouse, and the other being One Small Step. So, yeah, why don't we go ahead and just jump straight into that?
Yeah.
The following is a spoiler-filled review for the short films. I did this correct the entire rest of the week,
Yes, you have.
month, whatever. A short story of a fox and a mouse, and one small step. Listener discretion is advised. A short story of a fox and a mouse, and yes, that is the full name of this, was directed by Camille Chakes, Hugo Jean, Juliette Jordan, Marie Pillar, and Kevin Roger, and that's all the cast and crew information I have for this.
Ah, okay.
Synopsis real quick. A lonesome fox hunts a mouse, and their relationship will evolve as two owls interfere with the hunt.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got for info and stuff on this
Info
one?
and stuff. IMDb is a 6.3 out of 10. Available to watch on YouTube. Its release date was in. Where did this first originate?
France, I'm guessing, because this looked like French text on this.
Yeah, it's French. Yeah,
Plus, with a name like with names like Marie and Hugo and Camille, I mean, it's either American or it's French.
that's true. That's very true. It debuted or it came to life on September 3rd, 2015. Produced by, I'm going to butcher this, so I apologize. El Col yeah, again, I'm going to butcher it. So
May
I? Let me try.
Okay.
Let me try. El Col Superior de Methra Artisquistia. I'm probably
Close
butchering-
enough.
Close enough. I'm trying to.
We are not French.
Yeah, I am not French, but
You have some Cajun heritage, which is the closest you get. But
yeah.
I'm certainly not.
But if I did butcher that production name, I do apologize. And so that is all I had because that's it.
Yeah, this is
And
the
it
one
was it's a
thing
student
about
project.
these shorts is there's like little to no information
Yes,
on any of this
But
stuff.
they're so good.
But they are so good. Yeah. I actually really did enjoy this. The minute I saw the owls, though, I figured they were going to actually be the antagonists because my first thought was owls eat mice. I knew owls ate mice better than I knew foxes ate mice. Just because, I know owls are predators like that. I've never even heard of a fox eating a mouse. Not that I'm going to say they don't.
Right.
But I was like, that's not the best place to stand, little mouse, to hide from the fox.
Well, I don't think the mouse actually didn't quite realize that they were owls there, and he just played along with it,
Maybe
and then realized, oh, they could actually eat me.
that's like one of their mice are an owl's natural prey, to
Mhm.
my understanding. But what I really enjoyed about this was the physics with the fur.
Oh yeah.
This is some of the best fur physics I've seen in a long time, including when they get out of the freezing water,
Mm-hmm.
because there is a difference between how fur moves when it's dry, of course.
Yes.
Wet in like normal weather and wet when it's freezing cold outside.
Yes.
There is a difference.
Yes, there is a big
in
difference.
how that goes. As I was like, that actually looks like it's cold, wet fur. Grats, guys. I was not expecting the fur to look that good. I was
Mhm.
expecting this to stay more stylized. But yeah, I really enjoy. I really thought the fur physics and the snow physics in this,
Mhm.
I thought were done very well. I mean, to some degree, the snow here gives Frozen a bit of a run for its money.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
What are your thoughts?
Animation wise, this is done very well, very well done. You have it's a minimalist cast, but like there's really no voice acting except for hooting and growling and squeaking and that kind of stuff.
And that could very easily just be from a sound effects pack.
Yeah. And the fact to be like everything with definitely with this being a college project or a student project, you are using more of the elements, you're using the models to tell your story, the expressions of the characters. And I love these little shorts because it allows the artist to stretch their skills as an artist. And with this, be like it is just punch after punch. When you talk about fur animation, snow animation, effects general like that, like the when the both the fox and the mouse pop out of the snow, be like it's so well, it looks realistic. It looks so realistic that it's like, oh, okay, be like obviously you can tell these are they're stylized characters.
The character designs are very stylized, but the fur looks like it's spot on.
Yeah,
and stays within that stylized conceptual look very well.
Yeah, fur dynamic and like all the elemental parts of this just look so amazing. And then you get more of your comedy relief / protagonist in the owls. Who you have one who is the kind of the peeking in the brain dynamic.
There is a bit of a pinky in the brain.
There's the ooh, I'm real serious, and the really tall one's the goofy one. It's like I don't know what's going on, but okay. And
it's not like right in your face, but you can kind of tell that was the personalities they went with.
A little bit. Again, thoroughly enjoyable, thoroughly just a joy to watch. The point where you have the fox and the mouse who are contrary to each other, they're trying to survive, and they want to getting themselves in a situation where they have to rely on one another, and they wind up becoming friends, or comrade. What's the Russian word for
comrade?
Comrades. And I find the dynamic of these two characters, even though they're not speaking, they're not anthropomorphic, we don't get this really deep, rich story of these two, but it's just told visually so impeccably well done. I'm just thoroughly impressed with this. It is so well done. That's a gap. If anybody goes go see it. Go watch it. It's on YouTube, and basically anywhere you just
pretty much any YouTube place place YouTube is, you can go check it out there.
So well done. Highlight just high bar. This is so well done. And the point I want to get, like I was trying to say earlier, with the point where the fox and the mouse, they come out of the snow, and the snow elements. I'm probably forgetting how to say a word, but the snow effects,
the particle effects.
Thank you. Particle effects are done so incredibly well that it looks like snow, because there again, these characters, they are more of a stylized version of a fox and a mouse. But it's just done so well. Be like the way the snow rolls off the figures, and the way they pop up, and the way it moves, the dynamics and everything. It's just done so well. And if you took a snap, like a screenshot with HD resolution, it would just look brilliant, because it's done to such a caliber of animation and detail. It's done so incredibly well, and I just yes, amazing.
All right. Shall we move on to the next one?
Don't we need to rank this first?
Oh yeah, we do. Sorry.
Yes. What's your rank?
I'm giving this 8.0.
8.0.
It's the animation is great. The storytelling is done very well with no dialogue. I fully understood what was going on. The only reason I'm not rating it any higher, I guess, is just because I really don't understand where the friendship came between the fox and the mouse. Yes, the fox saved the mouse, so I understand the mouse is feeling more camaraderie with the fox, but I don't know why the fox is not still hungry for the mouse. That's just a weird little thing on my end, but I'm not feeling the Tom and Jerry relationship this is kind of mirroring.
I can see that, but I also can see where the two characters are bailing each other out of situations.
Yeah, and I get that. Sure, the mouse did save the fox somehow. That was weird. How it got the ice where the fox could swim back up, but the fox didn't look like he was swimming back up. He came back out kind of in a Fox Ex Machina sort of a thing.
Yeah, agreed.
That does feel a little weird, but you know, I still enjoy the story for what it is. Yes. So yeah, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10.
I'll give it a 9 because again, I love the animation, I love the storytelling. The Fox Day Machina is, I'd be like, once you said that, I was okay, I can't get that out of my head now.
Yeah, Fox Ex Machina.
Fox Ex Machina. This was done, it's very well done. The story's done, the storytelling's done, particle effects, everything. Be like a group of students who poured a lot of passion, a lot of love, a lot of sweat into creating this, and it's done so professionally that it has contender to other, dare I say it, more modern studio films. So yeah, 9. It's amazing.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into the next one. One Small Step, which was written and directed by Andrew Chesworth and Bobby Pontilis. It was also written by Trent Corey and Shafu Zhang. In this one, we follow the story of Luna, a Chinese American girl who dreams of becoming an astronaut.
Yes.
That's all I've got for it.
Gotcha. All right. So IMDb is a 7.3 out of 10, available to watch on YouTube. Release date was on June 25th, 2018. Produced by Takoi. Am I saying that right?
I'm guessing it's Taiko.
Taiko. Not Taiko.
Yeah, well, you're thinking of Taito, but this is
Taiko. That's right. Yeah. Taiko.
I'm thinking it rhymes with Taito, which is a Japanese video game developer.
Okay, that makes sense. Taiko Studios.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
That's about all I found on it. This one I actually for some reason, I was thinking this was going to be shorter than it was. I was expecting it to like end with, when it started, I was the way I was expecting it was like, she's a little girl, dreams of going to the moon. And I expected it to end after her imagination kind of ended as she went to sleep for the night. And then I figured, that'll be the end of the short, because that's sometimes how these things go.
Sometimes, yeah.
And then we get like the next 2/3 of it.
Yes.
And it's like, this is what the story is about this girl trying to achieve her dreams. And of course, her getting knocked down over and over again because she's just not quite ready yet, or just, that's just how life goes sometimes.
Yes.
And she, throughout the whole thing, she's getting support from, I'm assuming, her grandfather?
Father.
I couldn't tell if it was father or grandfather, to be honest.
I'd be like,
but I'm going to also go with, it doesn't matter which one it is.
Yeah.
But he is a cobbler, technically.
Yeah, he's a cobbler.
A shoe repair person, and apparently kept every single one of her shoes. Which is both sweet and kind of, that's odd. But he's a shoemaker. I get that. And he did make her some moon boots for her to play in as a kid. But then when she finally gets to the moon at the very end of it, I mean, after he dies, and that gives her the strength to push on after a very short depressive episode, knowing that he believed in her. And I don't. This is a very sweet story by
It
the end
is.
of it. About
Very
this young girl,
gut-wrenching. Yeah.
about this young girl trying to achieve her dreams and the support that she had.
Agreed.
So, yeah, what are your thoughts before I go off for a while?
This is a brilliant, very beautiful, very moving, very touching piece of animation that I've seen before, and I think I mentioned even on the podcast before.
I think I remember you posting it on the page
I did
a couple years ago.
Yeah, I think back when it actually
when it came out.
When it came out, because we started in 2019, right? So this came out that same year. So no, it came out a year before. I apologize.
Well, when you saw it and posted it, it would have been in 2019.
Yes.
So yeah.
Either way. This is just brilliant. Be like it's the story of this little girl who wants to be wants to go to the moon, wants to be an astronaut. Her father, grandfather, whoever the man is to her, is encouraging, and you see their development as as father daughter or grandfather granddaughter dynamic grow, and you see as she grows as a young girl into young adult, like a young teenager, into her teenage years, into her college years, you find that like she spends less and less time with him, and you find that he is continually trying to encourage her, and you see the what's a good word for that, age starting to creep up on him.
Yeah,
like just every
he's getting older.
He's getting older throughout the entire, like the moments he's in the short, and it's just so breathtaking. It's like they put so much little detail into the Luna when she's young, in her young teenage years, into her college years, and her ambition to become an astronaut and being rejected over and over and over again, and her father or grandfather is constantly encourage her, and then she comes home, and now that he's passed away, and this has devastated her life, and it's so moving, because I sat there first time, I'm like, oh my gosh, that point where you realize that he passed away.
Yeah, that point when she opens the door like she always does, the lights off, the cane is laying on the floor, obviously unused.
Yeah.
And then she runs upstairs, which my first thought on that was like, if he left the cane downstairs, how did he get all the way upstairs? But that's obviously there must be other people living in the house besides those two. These are just the only two we ever see. But I thought that was very powerful how you realize, just with like so little information, you realize, oh, he's either sick or he's dead, one of the two.
Yeah,
he's terminally ill, at the very least.
And it's just like this brilliant, where you see this how loss can lead to depression, and where she kind of gives up, and that spark of inspiration has kind of subsided in her for the moment, the like probably within like months, and for us it's a matter of seconds, but it's just brilliant thing of like our character goes from joy into sadness, and her spark is reignited when she stumbles across the box of shoes her grandfather had continually made her shoes and kept them for her. Like any good parent, be like, they're going to keep some kind of thing of their child to remind them, or it's just like, this is something that happened. And the point of where she finds her inspiration and finds her spark again is when she takes hold of the little astronaut boot. And she's reinvigorated through that, but like what her grandfather had done for her, and his constant encouragement to her to never give up on her dreams. And eventually she does become an astronaut, becomes on the moon, and it's just so sweet and touching. It's just so well done. It's beautiful, it's breathtaking, it's touching, it's heartbreaking, like at moments, but encouraging the exact same way of never giving up your dreams. And I think that's a lot for us. We have this, like we have this cataclysm event happen in our lives where it brings us into it. It causes us to, you know, want to give up on our life and give up on our dreams. But like when we have encouragement, or if you like a Christian like we do, we rely on our relationship with Christ to sustain us through those dark times and those dark errors and dark seasons. Eventually you do find yourself in the other side of that chasm.
Yeah.
Or yeah, and you find that encouragement to move forward. It's always that one more step. One more step. If it's a small step, it's a large step. I'm reminded of Frozen 2 when Anna is coming to that realization that Elsa's no longer there and Olaf has disappeared. Be like he's gone. He's gone. Elsa's gone. And she is singing the song about even though everything hurts, be like it's just taking one more step.
Yeah.
So, you know, taking that one more step to move forward. And it's just not stopping. And it's encouraging. It's encouraging to see, you know, when creators can do something like that in such a small amount of time, tell such a detailed and like such a loving story with that. It's so moving and so I'm going to say encouraging all the time, because it is. And it is so well done. I love this. It's so good.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, what are you going to rate this then?
Oh, it's a 9.5.
I'm going to give it a 9, actually.
Okay.
I do enjoy this. It's very touching. And being a space kid growing up, I can understand, you know, the pull of space that she feels throughout all this, and how much. And let's face it, we've all had things we've reached for.
Oh yeah.
And get pretty much knocked out of our hands over and over again. And I felt that throughout the whole thing. And then finally, you know, her main support does get kicked out from under her with it, that she doesn't even realize is there. And then when she finds that collection of her shoes, and then finds the moon boot, is clearly that obviously that's how I keep seeing that as the moon boot, and how that kind of gives her the boost that she really needed. How she realized that that support was always there, that love for her was always there, even when she wasn't reciprocating. Yeah. And how that pushed her forward and to finally achieve her dream. I thought it was brilliant, to be honest. It's very well done. The team did a good job here. So yeah, I'm definitely giving it a 9.0.
Excellent. I'm feeling I'm going to reiterate everything I've just said about this, like gushing over this thing.
Yeah.
But it is brilliant. Go watch it.
Indeed.
Go watch it on repeat. It's good.
So that brings us to the end of our review section for this.
So what are we doing next week?
Next week is a very special episode of the Cellcast podcast, because it's going to be our 5th year anniversary of the podcast.
Yay!
Those of you watching the Facebook page earlier this week will know I posted a memory of our first recording session.
Yes.
But this is closer to when the first episode was actually released. I say closer because I think technically it was like the 2nd or the 3rd was the actual release date.
Yes.
But this is the first episode of February. That's what counts. So yeah, join us next week as we party for our 5th year anniversary. We really know what we're doing besides what we've normally done for all our anniversary episodes so far. But yeah, join us for that. And of course, next week we will also not be doing an Evangelion thing. We'll take a week off from that. But we will be doing some more Evangelion at the end of this show. Plus, on the other side of those bumpers, we'll get to talking about what we've been watching and if we have
Mhm.
anything.
This podcast is a proud member of Culture Box. Whether you enjoy geeky reviews, comedy, or original fiction, you can open up the Culture Box and find something excellent for your soul. Point your web browser to culturebox.media.
This week, we suggest checking out Playing Games with Strangers. Playing Games with Strangers is a family-friendly actual play podcast where indie voice actors get together and play tabletop role-playing games. You can listen to the adventures unfold as they roll dice, slay monsters, and have fun, all at playinggameswithstrangers.com. And they just finished their first campaign, so be sure if you've not listened to it, go back and binge that whole saga, all 100 episodes of it.
Wow.
I think it's 100 episodes. Either way. So yeah, go check them out. The Cellcast would also like to thank the following patrons: Ashley and Francisco Ruiz, Book of Gaming, PaulJPowers.com, and Edwin Gonzalez. If you would like your name read out on the show, special artwork from Jacob, and uncut episodes, along with there are still 3 spots available on our 2024 patron picks. At the $10 level, you can do that. So go check that out if you want to do that. So, Jacob, I have a question for you.
What have you been watching?
What have I been watching? Quite a bit.
It's been a week and a half.
It's been a week and a half.
Watch something.
I have. So I started watching One Piece on Netflix just because it was like, you know what? Be like,
the live action one.
No.
The original anime.
The original anime. Cheesy as all out.
Well, I mean, yes. The
It's shonen.
season was made in like 1998.
Yeah. Feel like it's interesting. It's, you know,
And,
you're
you're definitely not getting the 4Kids version,
no,
thankfully.
no. It's on Netflix, so no. So I watched a little bit of that.
I had the pirate rap by itself over here.
That would be funny. That would be funny. So I started watching Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated because a friend of the show, Chase, had been just gushing all over this, like beyond belief.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally sat down and watched it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, he's not kidding. This is an amazing show. But like, it's unlike any other Scooby-Doo show I have ever seen. And it's the point where it's this overarching mystery of what's going on. It's not just which is episode by episode episode. But this has like an overarching story. But like it's got this serialized. It's very serialized. Be like it's like you're doing different there's like obviously you're dealing with like you know weekly issues or something like that, the weekly dastardly villain who the gang had to stop, but there's this
not Snidely Whiplash.
No, but there's this overarching story of like this mysterious key in this organization within the town and this brilliantly done. And I was blown away, and I still want to continue to watch this because I think it's 3 seasons, I believe 3 or 2.
I'm not sure how many seasons it is.
Yeah. But overall, highly recommend go watching Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated on Netflix. It's relatively available, and it is just a joy to watch. And I can't wait to get more into it because it's so well done. And another one that I started on Tuesday and I finished. No, it started on Tuesday and I finished it on Thursday. Masters of the Universe Revolution. Sorry, Revolution. I always get that wrong.
There is a difference between Revelation and Revolution.
Yes, I agree. It's this follow-up from Revolution. I'm going to get these mixed up if I don't look at it correctly. I apologize. But it's the follow-up to Masters of the Universe Revelation. And this is Revolution. And it picks up where the story kind of left off. It's done brilliantly. It'd be like the first or Revelation had little bits of issue, and people just hated this thing, hated it left and right. I can see why they hated it, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I endorsed it here on the show. And we finally got another season. We only got part one. We only got part one of it right now. And I am hoping and praying, because I watched all 5 episodes and I binged the crap out of it. Because normally I don't binge things. I normally never do. And I binged it and I was like, oh my gosh, because they bring in Hordak. If you're a He-Man fan, you know who I'm talking about. And which brilliant would be like they cast Kevin Davis or Kevin Davis, am I saying that right? Goliath.
Keith Davis.
I'm sorry, Keith Davis. Keith Davis is as I'm just mixing everything. Man,
I think it's Keith Davis.
It's Keith Davis.
It's Keith. I know that. I'm just not sure of the last name.
It's
now.
Keith Davis. Keith Davis as Hordak. Brilliantly done. And
Keith David.
I apologize. Keith David. And another character shows up he's mentioned in the first episode, but you see him at the very end of the first episode. And he's voiced by William Shatner. And once I saw this character, I was like, oh no. Because I know who this character is. Be like, if I said Keldor, would you know who I'm talking about?
No.
Okay.
Does he talk like this?
Kind of.
When he's talking to Hordak and Skeletor. This is the wrong thing, isn't it?
No, it's William Shatner.
Yes,
they like
doing the whole William Shatner bit.
Yeah, but he's not
him talking like this.
Kind of.
Mr. Spock.
Yes,
set phasers on stun.
Yes, yes. I but it's so well done. Be like, he shows up and it's like, oh, because there's this idea of do you accept the scepter or the sword? Be like, the whole premise is the entire first act, this first part of the series, and it's brilliantly done. And we get this big revelation from one of our main baddies, and it's like, oh, this is okay. This, like, he's him, and it's all brilliantly done. And it's right there, like the rest of it, you get these flashbacks of this character. And there's one scene in particular that they cut to, that from a certain movie we've reviewed within the Masters of the Universe franchise.
They did a flashback to He-Man and She-Ra Secret of the Sword.
They did.
I thought this was like a rebooted thing.
It is. But they
multiverse. Gotcha.
No, they reference it to a certain scene in that movie. And I'm like, because like the entire time, be like, you see Hordak and he seems to be holding something.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, please say they're going to do it. So it goes through the entire thing. I think the third act is a little bit crunchy, a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
Because you have these elements in which a character has to combine in order to recreate something. And I have a little bit of issue with that, because it's more of a Valhalla situation where only the great heroes go and everybody else goes to Saturnia, which I'm like, really? So if you do something noble and fight courageously, be like, you get to go have an eternal reward, whereas everybody else gets to go to Hades. But
aren't you glad we don't believe that?
Oh, you're not kidding. You're not kidding. So be like, it ends with this, like everything just like falls into place, and oh, I really don't need that. Where it like helps the characters, to kind of move forward the whole bit. It's kind of clunky a little bit. So it ends, and we get this. Oh, okay, be like, oh, the villain's defeated, we think. And then you get these, like, it ends, and then you get this post-credit scene and another post-credit scene where another character shows up. And I'm like, I am literally screaming at my screen. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. Oh, what is that character's name? Despera? If I say Despera, would you know who I'm talking about? Okay.
I didn't watch He-Man.
Okay. Just checking. I mean, like they showed this character. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're gonna do it. They're freaking gonna do it. Because there again, they used a flashback from He-Man and She-Ra's Secret of the Sword, which is like, oh my gosh. Like I freaking lost it. It was so good. So yeah, if you watched He-Man or Masters Universe Revelation, and you have interest in watching this, watch this. It's 5 episodes. Hopefully the next second part will come out and they will get all this Despera thing. And which if they do it, oh my gosh. I do gotta say mad props to Kevin Smith who wrote this. Amazing. Incredible writing, just like everything about it I loved. A little chunky here and there, but overall I loved it. It was so good, and I cannot wait for the second part to come out because I'm like, ooh, excited.
I can tell.
Nah. But yeah, that's what I'm watching.
This must be what it's like for him when I'm geeking out about Star Trek.
Yes. But this was so good. Oh my gosh. Because they're gonna He-Man and Master Universe was one of the shows I loved as a kid. And because I remember very distinctly back when I was a kid, because we go to my grandparents in Louisiana, and we were given like drawing pads. Given drawing pads.
Yeah.
So my little brothers would be scribbling in the corner. I'm trying to draw He-Man and Battle Cat. And I was doing a pretty good job for a 5, 6, 7-year-old. But yeah. I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, because they're leaking the movie with the DC comics and all this other stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so good. Come on, give me the second part. That's all I want. Come on. Yeah, that's what I'm watching.
All right.
What have you been watching, playing, and or listening to?
Well, as you know, I've been going back through Star Trek, the original series.
Yes.
Today, I saw an episode that I could have sworn was in season 3, but I was wrong in terms of its where it actually was. But it ought to be in season 3, as bad as it is. It was a weird episode. I was reading the synopsis on it, and I going, okay, yeah, I don't remember this one. I must not have ever watched it. And it starts, I'm going, okay, this has a weird beginning, because I mean, every once in a while they throw a picture of like a nebula or something on the screen and play music and have it zoom in and out while everyone's, going crazy, going, what the crap is going on? And then they finally get down to the planet where suddenly life has appeared where there wasn't life before. And I see this flying saucer looking craft and I go, this episode, this is the stupid episode. What's this? I thought this was season 3. And granted, it's stupid because it's poorly written.
Okay.
It's one of those, it's one of those, it's out of place where it is. I mean, Spock's brain is better than this. And what's bad about it is that Kirk and crew, including Spock, take forever to figure out what the crap's going on. We figure out very quickly that this guy is changing places with himself. Two versions of himself are switching places, and maybe that's just genre savviness. Maybe it's just because one has a bandage on his head and the other doesn't. I don't know. And it takes him forever to figure this out. And okay, there's a point where Kirk says this guy's name, Lazarus, right? And I'm sitting there going, Kirk, when did he tell you his name? Did I miss that? Like literally in the because I watched with closed captioning on. In the captioning, because in the previous thing, Kirk had said, let's go see what our guest, who this unexpected guest is. It literally lists him as guest. I was like, okay, this is supposed to be the other guy. And I'm watching the scene and going, Kirk, he never said his name. How did you know his name to cry it out? What the crap is going on? It's the name of the episode. I don't think I said the name of the episode, which is The Alternative Factor. And if you've never heard of matter and antimatter before, this does a good way of kind of explaining how they work in, at least in Star Trek.
Fair.
You know, how they cancel each other out violently.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm watching this going, oh, even the remastering did not help the special effects in this at all. Because every time this guy transfers between universes, it shows him fighting himself in this weird, what do you call it when the color inverted colored room?
Yeah.
Except it's all purple and pink and blue pastels.
Oh wow,
which is like weird. And I'm watching, going, couldn't y'all have fixed this in the remaster to make this look, I don't know, good? Why does this look like? Why did you recreate this effect exactly the way they did it? I know that's part of what they were trying to do, was not, you know, to show off to be stay as true as they could to the director's visions for the episode. But good night, y'all could have fixed something here. I mean, at least when y'all did Space Siege, y'all put in like more pictures of the Botany Bay and actually showed it getting it being righted and the tractor beam and all that stuff. This is just like, are you sure you're not editing this on VHS? Because this looks like VHS to me. Except this would be pre-VHS. So literally cutting it together on film. And great, it's not that it's bad. It's just, oh, this could have been better. And I know what you're thinking. Well, maybe they just used the original effects and just did. No. I looked it up. They redid the effect on this guy fighting himself room.
Yeah.
And it's like, y'all couldn't have made it look better? Now, granted, I understand with the picture and stuff, they might not have been able to do as much with that if all they have was the completed shot. But this whole thing with the blue and purple, I'm going, this looks like My Little Pony Hawk to Loogie is what this looks like.
Wow.
It's the only explanation I go up with on it. So yeah, that was a weird episode.
I can imagine.
I also saw some other good ones this week. Space Sea, which introduced Khan, and a couple other ones I remember hearing about but having never watched. Saw the first episode with the Klingons.
Oh,
In their full Caucasian men in Mexican makeup wearing Mongolian goatees look that they had at the time.
and no bumps.
No bumps. No bumps. The original Klingons were a trip, guys.
Yeah, that's what I've seen.
So yeah, I saw those. I did see a science fiction movie this week, a classic one that I had not seen before.
Okay.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh, that's a good one.
It is good. And it was the director's version that came out in 98.
Yeah.
I think Spielberg put that out, which takes what Spielberg liked from both the other two cuts they did, but left out the aliens, the shot inside the thing from the special edition that came out like afterwards, because that was a stupid shot anyway, from what I understand. That was actually a really good movie. I remember I was watching going, good night, this is a really good transfer.
Yeah.
And then I saw that it was redone in 98. Go, oh, that's why it's a good transfer. Y'all were already planning for DVD and wanted it to look good. So y'all did a full remaster up to theater, and that's why it looks good. But yeah, I watched that. I hadn't seen it before. I enjoyed it. Saw a lot of old television this week. I was out of town, of course, you know, at the beginning of this weekend, up in the frozen north of the Panhandle of Texas, and for a couple of days there, it was frozen. Not ice, thankfully, but it was cold. It was below freezing. And then came here and been playing a lot of Final Fantasy 14 because I've got time and I'm able to catch up on some things. And then I got to thinking, the sequel to Final Fantasy VII Remake is coming out soon, and I still need to play the DLC that came out on Final Fantasy VII Remake. And then I go and download everything, and I go, oh, my save file did not transfer.
Uh-oh.
And it says I could go back and transfer and upload it from the one we did, except you have that PS4 now, and I wiped that hard drive clean before I gave it to you. So I'm playing back through Final Fantasy VII Remake again. And I swear they've added some stuff since I played through it.
That is
not a lot, just more like contextually.
Yeah,
I've only just gotten back down to the Sector 7 slums, but there was a part of there where going, I don't remember this long scene with Sephiroth. I know there was a scene with Sephiroth, but I thought it was a short, kind of a jump scare sort of a thing, and I didn't go. It was like, this scene's going on for 5 minutes, where Sephiroth is trying to beg me to save the Earth by running away. What the crap is going on? But yeah, I am playing back through that, and I forgot how actually fun that game actually is.
Yeah.
I think when I do finish that thing, I am going to play through the Intergrade DLC. I don't know if you'll be available to come over and watch that, but you'll at least be able to watch the VOD if nothing else.
Exactly.
And then I may stream the Rebirth. I don't know. I haven't decided on that yet, but we'll give that time. I may not do it immediately,
Right.
but I may do that at a later date. Other than that, I think that's all I've been doing outside of what we needed for the show.
Right.
Oh, I watched a lot of the original Addams Family earlier in the week too.
Really?
Yeah, what I call the real Addams Family. I know everyone from our generation does not thinks the Addams Family started with the 80s or 90s film. I don't remember when that first 90s. One was. I know that's what our generation thinks is the Addams Family.
Yeah.
No, I went to the real Addams Family, which is the one from the 60s with John Aston as Gomez. Samwise Gamgee's daddy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Sean Aston, who plays Samwise Gamgee in Lord of the Rings. His dad, John Aston, played Gomez in the original Addams Family.
Okay, that makes sense.
And that's like the main thing I know I can point people to. But I actually think I enjoy that show far more than I thought I did. I enjoyed it far more than I did the first animated movie.
Okay.
So, but it was, anyway. I think that's all I've been watching.
Okay.
What do we got in the news?
The Cellcast News with your host Jacob Heron.
Why, thank you, Dealit. And the only bit of news is a lot of Miyazaki. A lot of Miyazaki. So let me explain. So Japanese animated master Hayao Miyazaki overwhelmingly proved he is very much a living contemporary legend with his latest film, The Heron and the Boy and the Heron. Fresh off its historical win at the Golden Globes as the first non-English language pick for best animated feature. The fantasy adventure has set additional box office records as it continues to run its course through theaters worldwide. First, the top grossing non-franchise anime release in North America with $42 million. The first non-franchise anime film and Miyazaki first film to hit #1 in the United States and Canada. Miyazaki's highest grossing title in the UK and Ireland with $4.9 million converted into the US. surpassing 2003 Spirited Away with 1.1 million yen. The second highest grossing anime of all time in the UK, Ireland, behind 1998's Pokemon, the first movie, with 111.7 million yen, which opened in those countries in 2000. The highest grossing animated film released in Italy with $4.3 million, reported beating the previous record holder 3 days into its run. The third highest anime opening in all time in Germany. The highest grossing non-franchise animated release of all times in Japan, 56 million. Studio Ghibli's box office opening in Japan with 1.8 million yen, converted into 13.2 million in US, surpassing Howl's Moving Castle with 1.5 billion yen. 3D IMAX record holder in Japan, 44 screens of 1.7 million. The critically acclaimed movie accomplished all this in this with brilliant marketing, relying this the sheer pull of Miyazaki and Studio Ghibli's. It's like, yeah, this movie has done amazing in theaters globally, and here in the United States and globally, it has just made bank. And yeah, that's all I can find. Unless you got something else.
Depends. Does Tokusatsu count as animation?
Kind of. Didn't we already do a movie over? Did we do Godzilla?
We've not done any Godzilla yet.
Oh.
We got close because, I mean...
Nate?
No. I'm trying to think of that Halloween movie we did about a year back. Frankenweenie. Did have pretty much Gamera in it.
Yeah, agreed.
But we haven't actually... And we've done some crossover stuff, but those were pure animated stuff that involved kaiju.
That's true.
I'm talking about actual Suitmations,
yeah.
Tokusatsu stuff.
Yeah, because we discussed it. We've
never gotten in it. And I think I've said one way or another when Godzilla -1 makes it to home video, we're going to do it on the show. And Nate's going to be our first call as a guest on that.
Of course.
But the reason I bring that up is that Godzilla -1 just got re-released in theaters over here again.
In black and
white.
Yes, I saw that.
I am tempted to go watch it tomorrow.
I'm not surprised. Is it airing Tyler?
Yeah, it's not any closer. But I don't think it's got a decent showtime. That's my only issue.
Oh, okay.
Because it's only getting like a couple showings in the evening. So
okay.
But either way. Yeah, other than that, I think that is all we've got in the news. So why don't we go ahead and talk about some other giant monsters, though maybe not so much this week.
Yeah.
With Evangelion.
Yeah.
Card Captors, a mystic adventure. Card Captors, a quest for all time.
She is the one named Sailor Moon.
Pokemon, gotta catch 'em. It's you and me. I know it's my destiny. Pokemon.
It's time to do.
Digimon, Digital Monsters, Digimon are the champions. Yayo, yayo, yayo. Oh, set sail for One Piece.
Yo, Shinji, get in the robot. Your dad loves you, get in the robot. The cockpit's too small for a grown-up. Kick some butt in your robot. Emotional damage.
Once again, that's Stephen He doing emotional damage, and Eagle 8 Burger made the Lost 4 Kids opening of Evangelion.
I still gotta say this is a brilliant bumper. It's brilliant.
I tried. I'm hoping I can do just as good a one when we do on our next show,
Yes.
Spy Family. But yeah, first episode of the evening, Angel Infiltration or Lilliputian Hitcher.
Lilliputian.
Now, do you know what Lilliputian means?
I've heard of the word. I just can't remember what it means.
It comes from a book, Gulliver's Travels.
Gulliver's Travels.
You know, you've heard of Gulliver's Travels, I'm assuming.
Yes.
The land of the small people that he
Yes.
goes to is named Lilliput.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So
that's right. That's right.
Lilliputian.
Lilliputian.
Yeah.
Okay.
They do use the term hitcher here, which I think they meant hitchhiker.
Yes.
So yeah, Lilliputian Hitchhiker is what this name of this
Yeah.
episode should be, or the secondary name
Yeah.
should be. It's directed by Tensai Okamura and Masahiko Otsuka, and written by Hideaki Anno, Akio Satsukawa, and Mitsuo Iso. Summary for this one. During a simulation plug experiment, an angel with the ability to mimic computer circuitry begins to invade the Magi supercomputer system and trigger a self-destruct sequence. Ritsuko delves into the system's inner workings and leads a furious attempt to cancel the process. There is no new cast in this episode. Getting into the trivia, the angel that appears in this, technically, is Uriel. I'm probably saying that one wrong. Uriel is the first and only angel to be defeated without using an Evangelion at all. Ritsuko Akagi defeated it with her self-destruct program. This was the first angel to actually penetrate into Nerve headquarters itself, albeit by hitching a ride on some newly installed components into the base. Still, it managed to advance further than any previous angel. Uriel seems to be primarily based on the Andromeda organism from Michael Crichton's The Andromeda Strain.
Oh,
One of my favorite books.
Really?
Mhm.
That's interesting.
This marks the first and only time that an angel is defeated without using Evangelions, as I mentioned before. This episode is also unique in that it involves it barely involves the Evangelions or any of the three Ava pilots.
That's true.
They just show up briefly at the beginning and end of the episode and play no significant part in the central plot.
Yeah. Just Magi.
Apparently, the Nerve Special Order number 582 is the order to self-destruct Nerve headquarters. The names of the three Magi supercomputers are named after the traditional names for the three Magi or wise men that brought the gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh to Jesus after his birth, which are Melchior, Balthazar, and Caspar. Though here it is spelled Casper.
It is.
Like the friendly ghost. But I will accept that because Caspar, of all of the three, is the one who has the most variations on his name traditionally.
Yes.
Also be going as Gaspar, Jaspar, Jaspus, and Gathaspa. You know, Gathaspa sounds nothing like the other.
No, they don't.
The Fly Me to the Moon in this episode is sung by Yoko Takahashi, who, of course, sings Cruel Angel's Thesis at the beginning. And this is the Acid Bait Bassa version of the theme. So, what are your thoughts on this episode?
This episode really starts up interesting where our characters be like, oh, you can't wear a plug suit. It's like, okay, this is interesting.
Well, I will say, I didn't mention this, but the three synthetic bodies that they are testing out here, they didn't even bother to put mechanical components on them.
No, they didn't.
Very painfully obvious three giant human bodies.
Yeah, that's it. And
like, you're not even hiding it from Mitsuo at this point.
Yeah, true.
Not that I think she didn't already know.
No, but this
everyone but the pilots apparently knows.
Yeah. The overarching point of this story be like the pilots are literally they're in there more comedy relief kind of, and the angel attacks. It's more like a virus, and it takes over Ray's plug suit or her suit.
Yeah.
And they eject them, and we don't see them until the very end of the episode.
Yeah.
But
they're just laying on the side of a hill. No one stopped.
They're in a lake. They're in the lake.
They're in the middle of nowhere. Is still what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're in the middle of nowhere.
No one's bothered to come and try to get them. Granted, they've been a little distracted.
No,
but if they hadn't succeeded, it wouldn't have mattered where they were.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But I find it interesting because they're gonna be like
Also, we only saw them launch Ava Unit 1. The other two that supposedly had to be launched also, we didn't actually see leave.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course, they were just using stock footage for that.
Yeah, exactly.
This is not the only stock footage episode we're reviewing tonight.
No. No. The next episode is literally just a
clip show.
Clip show. Literally.
First half of it is anyway.
Yes.
Anyway.
But I enjoy because you get this let me find who the characters are in this one. More like Ritsuko and it's more like a Ritsuko story.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right? Ritsuko. But it's more like her story and how she like the relationship, the dynamic she had with her mother, and like how the Magi is like different parts of her mother and how that relationship she has with that particular system. And there again, we get to more hang out with different characters than just the Ava pilots. And it's a refreshing thing. And they bring up I think they bring up one point the dummy plugs.
Yeah.
They bring that up. And that will play a very big part later on in the series, but we'll get there when we get there.
I got the feeling even with the Magi, they were foreshadowing heavily on what's actually going on.
Yeah.
Because it's like, do we even need the pilots? Do we even need, I mean, obviously we can just copy their personalities into these machines. Could it be more than that?
Could be.
Could it be? Anyways,
like I enjoy this episode.
I would like to say that the problem with this being much like when we were doing Tangled.
Okay. Spoilers will just pop out at you doing research.
Of course. I'm aware of a couple of things, especially on the next one when they were explaining, or no, this one when they were explaining why it attacked Reyes first.
Yeah.
Why they think it did, because it's like, oh, maybe because she's closer to this thing. why it was dangerous and it got into the central dogma.
Yeah.
Because it could be getting to this thing down here. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Spoilers.
But
if it geeks, you need a spoiler section on your website for your people who are reviewing this for the first time and doing the trivia. I should have had you researching trivia. But anyway, I think I said the same thing when we did Tangled.
You did.
And did we do anything about it?
No. You just got to spoil yourself, don't you?
In all fairness, some of this I already do because of the rebuild, but
that is true.
Because they kind of jump on this fairly early in the second film.
They do. But overall, I enjoy it. There again, it's not a it's not a pilot centric episode. It's just the workers of Nerve and their camaraderie and how they're trying to defeat this angel without an Ava. And it's very unique because it's okay. Yeah, this was a good episode. It was good. It was fun. It had a nice tension to it that gave you, it's like, okay, well, are they gonna be able to do it? It's like, oh, all I need is a second. It's like a second.
It's just 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all you had. It always stops at one on the show.
Exactly. To
quote a movie you don't like for some unknown reason.
I gotta rewatch that movie anyway.
You do. In a good light. Where you can just sit and enjoy it instead of having to be
a reviewer.
critical about it.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for the next one?
Yes.
Seal, the seed of the soul, aka weaving a story. Now, I'd like to point out before I get down to this entire coverage, you have corrected me on my pronunciation of seal.
Sealag.
Yes. And I was curious, now that they were finally getting to an episode where they're going to have to say the name out loud,
yes.
How do they actually pronounce it?
Yeah.
I don't know how ADV does it. But I'd like to point out two things.
Okay.
A, the guy with the visor on the council,
yes,
whose name I don't remember, he said seal.
Yeah.
He does. Later on, someone else mentions it and they say Sele. So they don't even know how to pronounce the stupid name. It probably makes more sense in Japanese. But moving on. This episode was directed by Masahiko Otsuka and Ken Ando, and written by Hideaki Anno. In this episode, boy, the summary just goes straight for the jugular here. The Human Instrumentality Committee recollects the past angel encounters and battles, while Gendo conceals the matter of the recently discovered virus-like angel. Rei and Shinji undergo intercompatibility testing with their respective Evangelions, but this experiment culminates in a strangely familiar incident.
Berserk!
There is no new cast in this episode.
Yeah.
Angel appearances. Every single previous angel on the show showed up here, except technically the one from the last episode.
Yes. Mentioned, but never seen.
Mentioned, yeah. Technically, Ariel did not show up.
Yes.
We didn't even see a shot of the Magi computers or any of the weird lighting effects they had around the synthetic bodies.
Yes.
At that point, I guess they figured they'd use too much stock footage.
That is true. So I do want to bring up one thing is I forgot about in the last episode.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So they mentioned when the techno virus angel shows up, it affects Ray's unit. You hear her scream and they eject the plugs.
Yeah.
It's never mentioned of how Ray was doing afterwards.
She must have survived because
Yeah,
I mean everyone
must have
else,
because we saw them later.
and they never they haven't touched on it. So
And like another thing, I forgot the very end of this.
she's a little introspective at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. And the last episode, the very end, it was funny, was because we realized the pilots are either they're in the middle of the mountains or they're floating in the middle of the lake.
Just saying they're in the middle of a field somewhere.
Yeah.
Really
But
hope the plugs have a GPS on them,
Yeah, it's true. And they're without their plug suits.
so they can't leave.
No, they can't.
Anyway, back to this episode.
Yes, back to this episode.
This is the first mention of Sele's use of the Dead Sea Scrolls as a guide for their scenario.
Dead Sea Scrolls. Come on.
Had
people.
nothing to do with this.
No, nothing.
After mentioning the Ava Unit 0 Berserk incident, Fitsuyuki himself feels that Gendo is too concerned with Rei.
No, you think?
According to the radio broadcast heard in the background, when Asuka is laying in bed, political unrest is still taking place in the Nansha Islands in the form of terrorist suicide bombings. 12 years after China and Vietnam went to war over control of the island's group resources in 2003 as a result of post-Second Impact tensions. Ritsuko and Maya discuss how the mutual compatibility experiment's relative success means that they will now be able to move forward with the development of the dummy plug project, though Maya expresses trepidation about it. Animation goof. Briefly, when Asuka is taunting Shinji, when the shot is focused on Asuka again, and she's asking about why everyone always pampers Shinji, the visual intercom box with Shinji displaying inside says that he is broadcasting from Ava Unit 1, even though for this episode only, he's actually in Ava Unit 0. This is the second time that Ava Unit 0 has gone berserk for no clear reason. Of course, this is because Ava Unit 0 going berserk here is just a reuse of the footage of it going berserk back in episode 5.
They just recolored it.
Yeah. Ray's simulation body connected to Ava Unit 0 was also infected by the angel Uriel last episode. And in similar fashion, the simulation body Ray was in raised its hand towards the control box. But Ritsuko blew its arm off with demolition charges before it could do anything.
But there's another thing, because how the system is connected to the pilots. Like, you blew the arm, you literally blew Ray's arm off.
Yeah, so she was in pain.
Yeah, exactly. They just don't care about Ray at all.
Well, somebody does. But,
Somebody
but
does.
apparently not Ritsuko.
Yeah, apparently.
I wonder if that is foreshadowing anything.
I wonder why.
The shoulder armor pylons on Evangelions do not actually contain any biological part of the Ava underneath the armor. The entire pylon is just an extension of the Ava's outer armor. As seen here, the pylons can actually be removed should the need arise, in this case to fit them into external restraints. Besides Ava Unit 0, both Ava Unit 1 and Ava Unit 2, which always had shoulder armor pylons, are here seen without them. Of course, the real reason is that the original Ava Unit 0 didn't have them.
That is true.
And this is just a recolor. But I will say in that earlier shot when they actually show like the full biological head of Ava Unit 1
Yeah.
for like where so you can get a real good look at it because it's on screen for like half a minute.
Yeah.
So it's like, boy, you're just not hiding it anymore, are you? You can't see those little shoulder things there either. So
No.
during the clip show montage of images from earlier in the series, a shot is shown of when Shinji fell on Rei in episode 5 with his hand falling directly on Rei's chest. When this episode aired on Adult Swim, the shot was edited out of the episode. Of course, the brief shot of Shinji's hand on Rei's chest was edited out of episode 5 as well when it originally aired on Adult Swim, so the flashback to a removed scene was simply not used. But what I find interesting about this whole thing is Adult Swim edited this? I've watched anime that's aired on Adult Swim, even from this era. They didn't edit crap. And they edited this? They showed worse than this.
Yeah, they show worse in the movie. Let's just say that.
I'm sure they do, but it's a movie. So it's like Adult Swim. You were young Adult Swim that night, weren't you?
Yeah. We got to think about the kiddos.
Who should be asleep by now.
That is true.
Since the rest of the time we're showing crap like Squidbillies and other nonsense that no child should ever be, no adult should be watching either, for that matter, in my opinion. Fly Me to the Moon in this one is sung by Rei. It is a solo and it is the normal version. So, the clip show.
Yes.
I would like to point out that Netflix has used the shot of the infinity of rays
Mm-hmm.
in like their as their what do you call that, the thumbnail image
Mm-hmm.
for like every time I go to watch this on Netflix. I'm going, you pulled from the clip show? I've been wondering what this is for the past 12 episodes or since I started watching it.
Yeah.
And this is just Ray's introspection
Mm-hmm.
of, is she, I don't even know what she's talking about for most of this, other than she's thinking about who she is in relation to everything else. So, I mean, it's technically an existential speech,
Yes.
but it's like, I don't know what's going on. I thought this was just a clip show for like because for the first 10 minutes, it was a clip
it's
show.
just a clip show.
I was going, how far into this are you going? And granted, this was the first episode where they actually said the names of all the angels.
Yeah.
Because all these names I keep bringing up,
Yeah, they're never
they
mentioned.
never said them in the show.
Exactly.
So they actually use them here. It's like, okay, that's kind of cool. And then Ray starts into this monologue and going, I don't know what you're talking about, Ray. How did this was something lost in translation from Japanese? I don't know. And then you get into the rest of this, and obviously they're plugging on some, they're foreshadowing stuff that's going into this, and this really does feel like they just realized they were canceled and had to, and we're gonna have to stop in what 10 episodes from now, or is it 12? It's a couple episodes from now, but obviously they knew when their last episode was, and it looks like, and this is a guess, I don't know, but it really does look like they realized we only have this many episodes left. We need to get back on track from our Monster of the Week stuff we were doing, even though looking at some of the names of upcoming episodes, there's still Monster of the Week stuff going on.
Kind of.
But it was like, we need to actually do, real stories here. So
yeah,
let's remind everyone what happened for the last couple episodes, and we'll bring back the conference room people we saw in the second episode that we never touched on ever again till now. And then, it's like, well, if this is how you're going to play catch up to make sure you can finish this show in any semblance of making sense, fair enough.
Yeah, agreed. I do like the fact that like Asuka does bring up why do they kind of pamper to Shinji a lot, because like
Gendo's kid, even if Gendo doesn't like him, they're not going to piss Shinji off.
That is true, and
just like they're not going to piss Rei off either, because she's obviously Gendo's favorite.
Yeah. Or they're
Besides, Atsuka is like the one who's got it all easy. She doesn't have to do all these extra tests because she's just completely incompatible with the other two. Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, exactly. But
Spoilers.
spoiler alert, little bit here or there. Wink,
Like-
wink, nudge, nudge.
It's like since I know the spoilers and I know things, of course Asuka can't participate. She has nothing in common with these two.
That is true. She's only the
From a
third
biological and spirological?
Spirological?
That's a term now. Spirological point of view. I'm officially calling that a word now. Spirological.
Okay, spirological. Put it on a t-shirt.
Yes. Buy it on the Cellcast merch store that doesn't actually exist next week. We do actually have a store on Redbubble. Go there.
Yeah, go
Anyway.
buy our stuff.
Please buy merch. But yeah.
I enjoy the episode because it does start diving a little bit into be like, this. It is a clip show. It is a clip show, but it does kind of be like you get Ray's introspective of be like, am I human? What am I? This and this and this. And then you get the berserk, you get this, you get this, you get this. Be like a lot of they're starting to build things up.
Yeah.
And
this does feel like they're just trying to remind you
Mhm.
of all these things they've introduced over there, but they're afraid might have got lost in the
shuffle.
in the shuffle.
Mhm. But overall, it's great. You have, let me see, a lot of tests. Berserk test. Why is Shinji so? Why this? Why this? And you can see where the Asuka's getting a little perturbed about things.
Okay, hang on. When is Asuka not perturbed? This is the angriest girl I've ever seen.
Yeah, well, we'll find that
I
out.
have
later.
never seen her happy in this show. Not really.
Mm,
And yeah, when she's piloting her Ava, yeah, she's really happy.
mhm.
But she only got to do that unencumbered once.
That is true.
And then she became a fishing lure for a giant Leviathan angel.
Yeah.
So we saw how well that worked.
Yeah. Here, angel.
Fishy, fishy, fishy.
Enjoy this battleship.
It's like, come on, Asuka. You're better than this. Why does everybody like you? I don't understand. You're not Annie, thank the Lord.
Oh,
but,
good night.
But I can see why people may have created her to be like you and failed miserably.
Yes, agreed. Like I was talking with Nate Marchand.
Yeah, because he does not like Asuka.
He does not like Asuka.
And honestly,
I've always liked Asuka.
I understand from his point of view, especially after his rant on Annie, because he felt a lot more strongly about Annie than we did.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little. And we didn't like her either. But and I'm watching this going, oh yeah, this is kind of like Annie, but with Grace.
A little bit.
Because I actually
But-
kind of like Asuka, but Annie is just like, well, you just shut up.
Yeah, well, at least with this, like Asuka be like later down the line, we get to understand like what's going on with her, like what is her brokenness and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, granted, this is probably why I'm already giving her like a lot of grace myself, is
Mhm.
because in the process of doing this research, I've come across things I wasn't supposed to know yet. And I'm going, oh, that's why. Okay, I actually understand her point of view. I understand where she's coming from. She's just one of those kind of people.
Yeah.
She's probably in love with Shinji.
I'm not gonna say a word.
You're saying she's not a tsundere? Did I just use a word you've never come across?
No, I've heard of a tsundere. I just don't know. Give me the definition of what that
Okay,
is.
so it's two words from Japanese. Dere, which is short for dere, which is like
Oh,
sound of the heart.
thump, 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 thump,
pumping.
thump. Yeah.
So love, basically. Heart pounding.
Yeah.
Which Doki Doki is also heart pounding. So I don't know.
Okay.
And Sundar is like, I don't remember what the word actually means, but basically in this context, it's, why do you think I love you, you idiot, you baka? Kind of a thing. She's in
Yeah.
love, but methinks she doth protest too much.
Just wait till the next episode.
Am I right?
You might be.
we'll see in 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yep. So yeah.
After we kick our friend Chase off the show because he doesn't want to watch Evangelion.
Oh, come on, Chase.
I'm not forcing anybody to watch anything they don't want to watch.
Fair.
Which I need to get back with him on that. But anyway, so we have anything else to add on this before we cut out of here?
Looking forward to the anniversary episode, and then we are doing
after that, because we did not mention what we were doing after that.
Yeah, Labyrinth.
Labyrinth is the next film we're reviewing.
I love Labyrinth.
And Chase, it was on our he did have this one reserved.
Okay.
So, and it wasn't until I realized we could just use our normal system for it. It doesn't matter if he's across town.
That's true.
Because the holdup was, how do I get 3 people in here? I don't know how to get 3 people in here.
Yeah.
So yeah, join us in 2 weeks for that, along with Lies and Silence and The Sickness Unto Death. And then we're getting into the really long episode names.
Yeah, we are.
For this. But yeah, join us for that. In the meantime, this has been Drew.
This is Jacob.
And we'll catch you in the next frame.
You can follow Jacob on his Facebook at Jacob B. Heron. His Facebook page, Jacob's Daily Art Corner, where he tries to draw each and every day. His Instagram at Jacob B. Heron. His Twitter at Jacob Heron. And his letterboxd at Jacob Heron. You can find Drew on Facebook at Drew Dodgen. His Facebook page, Drew's Photo Bin, to see his photography. His letterboxd page at ggeorge759. His Twitter at ggeorge759. And Instagram at Drew Dodgen. You can like us on Facebook at the Cellcast Podcast. On Twitch at the Cellcast Gaming. On YouTube at Cellcast. On Twitter at cast_cell. The Cellcast can be found at Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or anywhere else fine podcasts are downloaded from. Please rate and review us where you found us, and also on Podchaser. Email us at thecellcastpodcast@gmail.com. The Cellcast is a proud member of both the Pop Americana and Culture Box media networks. For more information, please see the link in the description. Our theme song is Drop and Roll by Silent Partner. And remember, that's Cell with a single L.
I don't have anything this week, guys.
Me either.
And that's the end, I guess.
Yes.